Hi, my name is Tucker, and I have been job seeking for the last 8 months, and it has been going so well. I am trying to get a job. I have been trying to get a job for the last 8 months. It has been one rejection letter after one unanswered application after another. So I decided to start a channel to document my job seeking situation because I think that I'm not the only one. I feel like a lot of people are in this boat, and my goal is to document all of the steps that I'm taking to find a job because I think that I'm doing everything that I can, and I want to turn the camera around from looking at people as unemployed, look at the job market and why it is the way it is, what is truly available. You hear rumors about ghost postings for jobs that are legally compelled to make a post but have no intention of hiring anybody. And I really want to do a self-test of all the efforts and see whether it's something that is a shared experience. I just have been working since I was 16. I'm 43, and I have nothing to show for it in terms of jobs that are interested in my previous experience. I have done retail. I've worked in the retail space when I was 16 to 19, and then I started working in restaurants from 19 to about 35. And then during that period of time that I was also doing restaurant work, I was teaching high school, because teaching doesn't pay. I was teaching high school and middle school at a private school and bartending. And then I stopped bartending, stopped doing restaurant work, focused entirely on teaching, and then decided to switch cities. I was in Sarasota, Florida, and then I moved to Jacksonville, Florida. I felt like there'd be more opportunities in Jacksonville, and just with it being a bigger city, there would be more opportunity. That was the idea. So I started working in law firms and as a legal assistant, which was pretty similar to doing anything administrative that I had done, even though I was in the restaurant. There's so much that's changed in the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I could use Indeed or ZipRecruiter or Craigslist or Facebook job postings. It would lead to something legitimate. It would lead to something that had a brick and mortar building that had 40 hours available. And now every single, I'd say 98% of the interviews that I've gone on have been for door-to-door sales, and they misrepresent the position in a marketing, and they use different terminology to kind of get you into sales. I don't mind doing sales, but I want to know that's what I'm doing if I'm applying for something. So I've been to several interviews that were complete scams, absolutely just pyramid schemes. There's no way you're going to make any money. The businesses literally change their name. So I've been to different interviews for different businesses in the same building, in the same office. It's discouraging. And I want to talk about my previous experience a little bit because I think that it's an unusual situation in the sense that the current job market is so different than what we were educated to prepare for. And things are changing so fast politically and so fast in the economy that I think if you just zoom in to one specific attempt to try to connect with the job market, it is related to a lot of these bigger problems that we're having in terms of the country. And just a lot of people are struggling to find work that is something sustainable. So I'm going to cut in some of the applications. I think I have 75 or 95, something like that, applications pending on Indeed right now. I'm going to show clips of that. I have a bunch of jobs pending on ZipRecruiter, on LinkedIn. I reach out to businesses on Craigslist, and nothing comes back. Or if you go on an interview, the waiting room is packed. For instance, I went on an interview with Hertz, and Hertz had an entry-level position, which they called a manager trainee, which I thought was pretty clever. Why call it entry level when you can call it manager trainee? So when I applied, came in and was called in for my interview, I sat for about an hour waiting past my interview time because they had so many people they were trying to interview. Went in, had a great interview, felt like it went really well. They said, you'll definitely find out something by next Friday. Never heard anything. Reached out, followed up. They didn't get back to me. It's just an interesting time right now where we're trying to find a foothold in a very unstable marketplace. So one of the things that I have played around with is my resume, right? So my resume used to have a picture of me because I was working in restaurants, and restaurants, going to be honest, they're not doing a lot of background checks. They're not calling a ton of your references unless you're in management. And even then, it's a lot looser in the restaurant business when it comes to your resume. And at least in Florida and North Carolina and California, where I was working in different locations, they want to see your face. They want to get to know your personality, and they kind of want to move a little bit quicker than a corporate job would in terms of interview, background check, side steps, and then hiring. Restaurant work does still exist, but as a parent, I don't know how many of you are parents, but I'm a parent of a 9-year-old. I just don't want to give up the nights that I do have with her to be working till 4 a.m. That's just not something that I find sustainable at this point in my life at 43. So with a small child, what am I looking for? I am looking for something ideally that utilizes the skills that I have in marketing and social media and brand campaigns, brand awareness, introducing brands to a new community or a new neighborhood or a new city. I have a lot of experience in marketing companies, small businesses, individuals in a way that has texture and authenticity in a landscape that's very slick and almost so slick that it doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't grab your attention and it's forgettable. Whereas I'm really interested in creating designs and media that is compelling, right? That grabs you, that's interesting to you. So I want to connect with a company that can use that or can benefit from that. Now, that may no longer be the landscape that is available. So I may have to stick to freelance. I have 2 freelance clients right now. But as a parent, I really want full time. That's something that's really important to me. I want something that's stable and 5 days a week. Right now, I'm working 6 days a week, part time. But if life work balance exists, I'm aiming for it. But I also know that things are not going well with the economy. I graduated in 2009, so I know what this feels like. I know what this looks like. So I definitely want to find something that resonates with my abilities and my experience, and something sustainable in a company that isn't going to immediately fire their employees so that they can hire cheaper staff as soon as they redo the budget. So what am I willing to do? I am willing to do anything administrative. I have a ton of experience with answering phones. I used to be the lead phone operator at the Federal Reserve in San Francisco. I got that position through a temp agency called Manpower, and that was a really great job until I moved out of San Francisco. It's like one job just doesn't set me up for the next one. For some reason, there's no credibility to the amount of experience that I have. People just want you to have worked 1 or 2 places to show that you're loyal, which is an interesting kind of myopic way to perceive loyalty. Yes, you can stay at a position for a long time, or that business can close and then you can work somewhere else. It's just not always indicative of someone's lack of loyalty that if they have multiple positions on their resume. I was working in the real estate market as a title processor, working on mortgages, gathering estoppels and payoffs and all different type of documents, and supporting the attorney that I worked underneath for the mortgages and the closings. And the office that I was working for had too many office spaces. They had to cut costs and they had to let people go because they were in leases with office spaces that they couldn't afford. So that happens. That's part of why a lot of us are job seeking, is because our career or our previous job has disappeared, laid you off, no longer hiring. Like, we're not job seeking because we just want to find something easier. We're job seeking because we need to be employed. And I think that's the breakdown, is that we can't find anything sustainable. This isn't the case of someone being picky. I am willing to do anything administrative. I'm willing to do anything that needs to be done in an office building, as I've done as an office manager, from cleaning the bathrooms to shredding documents to cleaning out the staff fridge to taking the garbage out. These are all the things that need to be done by a human in-person office. But those positions just don't seem to exist right now, at least in the demographic in the southeastern area that I'm job seeking in. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, looking for anything within about 30 miles, and then looking obviously extensively at anything remote that would be possible.